just assumed I'd play the part of keeping you in the right direction. No matter how your confidence may fall, I'll be here as your foundation. And I say, hey, yo, just let it go. Your struggles won't remain. And I say, hey, yo, we're holding hope and wake up yesterday. So hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Apollo Racing Club F1 2020 Tier 2 action here tonight. I'm Adam EV500, bringing you all the play-by-play, and joining me in the commentary box is none other than Tac XO. Hello, Tac. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
I am fantastic. I know last night you raced on this track, and how was it last night?
Well, going into it, I had about half an hour practice. Not too keen on the track, but I know I got a bit of an incident lap one, sort of had a recovery drive, but towards the end I actually once you kind of get a feel for this track and kind of get into the rhythm, it's not that bad. So I think today should be a good fun.
Looking over at the standings for Tier 2, it is quite the battle towards the lead. Wags right now in the Ferrari with 67 points in the lead. Rosefest currently in second place in the AlphaTauri with 66 points. Van, though, somebody who was in Tier 1 last season, came down to Tier 2. He's in third place right now with 47 points in the Alfa Romeo. Alex in the Ferrari is in fourth place with 28 points. So quite a big gap between P3 and P4 Tech.
Go for, and that creates some controversial driving.
For sure. Circuit Paul Ricard is 3.6 miles long, has a chicane on the back straight, so a lot of, instead of the fast back straight as you would see with some other sims, F1 2020 and F1 and the F1 circuit both have the chicanes. How hard is it to get through those chicanes, and what's the overtaking opportunities here at France?
I think you'll definitely see people struggle if they're on a high downforce setup. They'll be, sitting duck on the straights. On the contrary, if you have a low downforce setup, you will be zooming past people on that back straight going into the chicane. I think ERS management will be a factor as well. It's pretty easy to burn through a lot of it if you're using overtake on the straights here. But it's all about, timing it right and making sure that you're, I would actually, if you're behind someone here, I would take that time just to save some energy, save some fuel, because there are two DRS zones here and they are very, very useful. So, yeah, management will be key here.
Looking over at, well, as we head into qualifying now, What are some of your expectations here in qualifying? What are the times looking like in qualifying? After last night, what are you expecting out of Wags, out of Van, out of Rosefest?
I know Van did quite a bit of practice, so I'll look for him to put it on pole. I think he's gonna be my pick for pole tonight. In terms of quality times, I'm not sure. I think it'll be interesting to see how many people go on the mediums. I think most people last night did the two stop, but you could do the one stop medium hard on this track. Whether or not that's faster than a two stop, I'm not actually sure, but um, I do think that a fast driver like Wags or Van can possibly put it in the top 10 on mediums here.
Well, waiting on everybody to pop into the lobby. There is a little bit of wait time on F1, and we would like to welcome in our viewers in on Twitch and on YouTube tonight to watch the French Grand Prix in the Apollo Racing Club F1 2020 Tier 2 division. Let's see here. I'm hearing some engines firing up now. Who do we got here, Tact?
Yeah, we do have first car on track is Astro, now AlphaTauri. His teammate currently 1 point behind in the lead. Yeah, I'm very, very happy with how close both tiers are this season. I mean, tier 1 is, super, super competitive. We got, 5 or 6 guys there that are pretty much equal on pace, so very interesting to watch those races. Tier 2, I haven't caught too much of it, but I do know, Van's been in really good form. His teammate Babu had some bad luck last season, but this season I expect him to be up there as well. Rosefest also coming down from tier 1, so yeah, I think it'll be a decent battle here for across the both tiers. We'll watch Astro. Nobody on mediums on their outlap yet, except for Alex. So Alex, we have seen them a couple times try the mediums on the qualifying session. Judging by how early he's coming out on these mediums, though, I don't expect him to actually finish qualifying on that set, because if he plans on qualifying on the mediums, he would probably wait until the end of the session. So we have busy track here. We got 19 drivers currently out on track. Only one sitting is Rad in the Renault. But we'll go on with Alex. Yeah, I don't expect him to set a great time here, as the track isn't quite rubbered in yet, and he is on the mediums. But if he can get a decent banker in, that's good enough for a top 10, then yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he decides to stay with these tires. Well, it's going through turn 1.
Where are we at now?
Oh, has a little bit of an oversteer. I think he might. Oh, yeah, it does make some errors early on in the lap, and this won't be a representative time from here, I don't think.
Are we talking about Alex still?
Yeah, we're talking about Alex. I'm going to ride on board with Astro here. He's coming up to a couple cars that are on their outlaps, including Atmosphere. And the Ferrari in front of Atmosphere, I'm not sure who that is, but both these cars ahead of him are on outlaps, including Wags here. And yeah, they do impede him. Atmosphere does not get out of the way there. And that compromises Astro's line going to the last corner. He does get a little bit of a slipstream from Wags, who's starting his lap. But Astro puts in the first time of the session with a 9.7, which is, I think, about 1.8 seconds slower than our pole lap yesterday from Ruda. I think Luda did a 7.999, pretty much an 8.0.
Riding with Babushka now on the soft tire as he comes through. I would say if you're running high downforce, you're going to struggle on the straights. What is really the perfect setup here?
Well, I don't know what the perfect setup is. Last night I ran 2 4 wings, so pretty pretty good straight line speed, and that really helped me battling with some guys on the straight. I know they had DRS on me, but it still was very, very hard for them to pass because I had that really good straight line speed. Baba sets a really good lap here, an 8.8.
Yeah,
That's
28
5 seconds, or sorry, 5 tenths quicker than his teammate.
Van putting up a 129.31. Sarah with a 129.4. Rosefest with a 129.4. And Chewy falling to P6 with a 129.9. Figlin with a 129.98. James Jagamemes with a 130.
Games, yeah. He's a reserve driver tonight.
J Games, yeah. Sorry.
We do have only 19. Who are we missing? Anybody? I'm actually gonna.
I think we were missing a Red Bull, it looks like.
Yeah, let's see who we're missing.
Looking
We're missing
on
Sadist. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Sadist.
figure
All
out
right.
that.
Well, I'm with Rad tonight, right now, in the Renault. He's on the medium tire. He just started his hot lap and goes through the first chicane. Really, it's really, I would call that a chicane. Does it nicely. And he's going to come down into sector 2 now on that back straight, really getting the throttle, getting the throttle down, and just absolutely flying here with that DRS open, riding on board with him now. And he's going to go ahead and just get in that braking zone just between the 150 and 50 boards. Absolutely perfect through there with that medium tire. And he's flying through here looking, he puts up a 22.6 in sector 1, 27.2. It's 27.8 in sector 2. So he is actually pacing pretty fast through here. And this is somebody, I think, who's looking for a good qualifying here, especially on that medium tire. Coming up to a very technical part of the track, and really France and Paul Ricard, it's just one of those circuits that can get technical at some parts, but you gotta be fast at the same time. DRS back open as Rad comes down the start finish straight and puts up a 130.5, so a nice quality time from him.
Yeah, that won't be enough for a top 10, so he'll probably either decide to, start from the tail of the end of the grid and have that free choice of tire, or put on some fresh softs and go for a top 10. Baba's time still looks pretty hard to beat here. We got 3 drivers with a 9.4, Van with a 9.3, and then yeah, pretty consistently gapped throughout the rest of the field. Wags though, 9.6 on the mediums. I think he'll be very happy with that. I'm not sure if that's gonna stay in a top 10 as the session closes, and that's the thing I don't really understand from drivers that go on the mediums right away in a session. Is okay, like if you want to qualify on the mediums, go ahead, but do so, put some extra fuel in and go for two runs towards the end of the session where the track is at its fastest, compared to going out on a hot lap right away on the mediums and sitting in the garage for 15 minutes. It's not the most useful thing to do on a qualifying.
Astro, is on an out lap. He was one of the first guys to come out of the pits when qualifying started, and now he's the first man on the second run here of the qualifying start in his hot lap here. Astro in P7 right now. Ooh, and he's going to have to be careful here because there's a Haas getting in his way, but I think the Haas got out of the way at the last minute. What did you see there?
I was on board with Lepson because Lepson is on a hot lap as well. He's just finished sector 2. He's 1.6 seconds up on his delta. So this might put him nicely into the top 10 if he can keep this lap together. J8 Games ahead of him on an out lap, and hopefully he gets out of the way. Oh, very wide. They almost touch actually in that wide left-hander. J8 Games did nothing wrong there. Just Lepson I think, braking a little too late, and he actually abandons that hot lap and goes straight into the pits and even goes into neutral for good measure. We'll go on board back with Astro. As you mentioned, he's about 3/10 down on his time. But he is on new softs, so we'll see if he can find some time in third.
All right, where are we on now? Sorry, I got a message and I had to look at it real quick. So thank you for doing that, covering at a perfect time there. Let's see. With
Astro's finishing his lap right now. I'm not sure if this will be an improvement.
well, the sector
the
2
power
was an
there coming in the last corner.
improvement. He had a 27.4 in sector 2, comes across the line and gets a 129.9. He does improve a bit, but does not improve position. Let's head over to Van, who's coming.
Yeah, his first lap was a 9.7, so he did not improve that lap. 2/10 slower.
Van
Yeah,
was
we're on board with Van here.
Van had a fastest sector 2. Can he improve and steal pole position? He does not with a 128.6. He's only 400ths off of pole position of Babushka with a 128.8.
Yeah, half a tenth off his teammate. He's going to be annoyed with that. Juan Sanya now in the McLaren. His teammate just starting his lap. Or actually, he finished his lap. His teammate Chewy just had a time that's 4 milliseconds slower than Astro, so very close now. As Quirk gets out of the way for Juan.
Juan
Stay on
there
board
with
him.
Yep, stay on
3/10
board
up on
with
his time.
him. Yeah, he goes up to a 27.3 in sector 2, and if he continues to improve here, he'll be able to steal back that P3 as JA Games goes up with a 127.337, goes up in the P3. And here comes Juan Seri, crosses the line with a 128.9, steals P3 back from JA Games. What a lap from him.
Very, very close there in the top 3. It's anyone's race for pole position here, to be honest. I mean, it's all going to be about that last lap, I think.
Well, the man who could have, the man who had a win in his hands last week, MLG God, he's looking to maybe get a win this week as he comes across the line now. Where does he qualify? He puts up a 129.3, puts the Haas on P5 here at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with that. Top 5 in quali, I think will be good for him. Rosefest, though, I kind of expect him to be among that top 3, but he's about 4/10 out of off of P1. So I think he's still got some time in the bag if he can find it. Same with, Figlin, Wags. Wags is still in the pits, though. I'm gonna assume he's at this point just going to stay in the pits and not set another lap. Hopefully, keep top 10 on the mediums.
Let's go with Figla. Oh, he's on an invalid lap. What's Chewy up to? He's in the pits. The Peach right now with a 130.8. He is currently on it. I think he's on his in lap now.
Yeah.
Let's
I think
see.
most drivers here are on their in lap. I think Lepson is one to watch now because he invalidated his first lap, I believe. Second lap, he abandoned it after running a little bit wide. Now he's on the mediums with about 5 minutes left to go in the session. So I'll assume that he has enough enough fuel for 2 runs here. Can he get top 10 on the mediums? This is what we talked about. This is what you should be doing if you want to qualify on mediums, is wait until the end of the session, put some extra fuel in case you invalidate your first lap, and hope for top 10.
Let's look here. I'm trying to see fuel in the tank right now. He has 11.6 kilograms. So
that's
6.1 laps.
Yeah, that's more than enough for 2 hot laps.
Well, let's see what he can get done here as he's coming through the last couple of turns on his outlap, and he'll get started here. He's already in fuel mix 4, and he is on the way. That DRS coming wide open, and his time starts now.
Yeah, we'll go on right on board with him here. Mediums will struggle through sector 1 here, especially the traction coming out of turn 2. See if he can give it to the track limits. He does. Very nice and clean from him. And yeah, this lap needs to be sort of a banker lap. Make sure you don't invalidate it, as he's fairly conservative throughout the curbs here in turn 3 and 4. Perfect apex coming out of turn 5 here. And you want to be nice and gradual on the power before opening it up and being aggressive out of turn 7 for the DRS straight. It's got some yellow flags up ahead, but those are quickly gone. And now he's on the DRS straight, coming up with some cars there on the outlaps. Brakes just after the 100-meter board. Could be a little bit more aggressive on the curb on the inside, but the chicane was nice and clean from him. So far, a nice and decent lap from Lepson, who's fighting here for a top 10. He's 1.4 seconds. Oh, does he not? Almost gets
Nope.
invalidated there. That was very close, but as I said earlier, 1.4 seconds up on his delta. That puts him about P15, so he still has to find lots of time here.
And
If he can get
he
this
is
top
approaching
10.
he is approaching this traffic fairly quickly, even on this
Oh,
medium tire. So if he
goes very wide, but hits it inside apex, nice and close, decent final sector from him, nice and early on the power, hugging the right hand side.
puts up a 130.2. Tech, are you?
I like
Tech. Hello? Can you still hear me? Well, Tack apparently has had a technical issue. And we'll continue on here. But Lepson putting up a 130.2. Let's head over to Wags now, who is on a hot lap. We'll right on board with him. He's currently 5/10 up on his fastest pace. He does go fastest in Sector 2 with a 27.3. It gets that DRS wide open as he comes across the line and gets a 128.8 and goes third fastest. So we got Babushka, Van, and Wags in the top 3. Looking over at Astro now. He's getting a DRS from his teammate, a nice slipstream. He's going to let him by going into the chicane. Thank you very much, he says to his teammate. And he's going pretty quick through here because I think he can get fastest. No, he invalidates it instead. And his teammate will be pretty sad about that one. Let's head over to MLG God now, who no, he invalidates, sadly. Juan Serra currently out on a hot lap. He puts up a 22.3 in Sector 1. Can he find something quick as he goes through the backstretch? He is going to get a little bit of a slipstream as he approaches a Ferrari up ahead. And here comes the braking. Oh, that's a McLaren. That's a McLaren of Chewy. It looked like a Ferrari. It looked orange from very far behind. But it's going to be his teammate, Chewy, who doesn't give him the slipstream. Very
Sorry,
interesting.
My internet cut out, but I am back in the lobby. Wags,
No.
meanwhile, as I said, or contrary to what I said earlier, he did put on the softs after being, I think, 10th or 11th on the mediums, and he puts himself on the second row.
One
just
Sarah
shy
right now.
Of P2. Very close between second and fourth there.
Yeah,
And
one Sarah
Swan
right
puts
now
in
is
P4 as
improving.
well.
One has improved. He's up to a 27.4 through Sector 2. He opens that DRS coming down the start-finish straight. Comes across the line and puts up a 128.9. Does not improve, and that's going to be it for him. And now let's head over to Rosefest. Our P2 in the driver's standings right now opens up that DRS coming down the back straight. There is, I think that is definitely a Ferrari in front of him. I don't think they're going to catch up in time, but Van putting up a 128.87, and that will end his qualifying. He'll start P2. Babushka's currently on a hot lap, but he's currently provisional pole. I want to keep an eye on our on our second place in the championship as he's currently P6. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, my that's someone spun in the third sector. That's a racing point, I think, of Quirk 50. Anyway, I was just talking about Rosefest here on his hot lap. He's got Blaze Alex in front of him, who should be coming to the pits here as he invalidated his lap. Rosefest is approaching the start-finish straight here. He's got about a tenth and a half to find to make him up a spot as Figlin actually jumps him in P6. He jumps in P2, so that's very good lap from him. Rosefest up into the front row. No one could beat Babu, but splitting the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah. Splitting those Alfa Romeos with a 128.7, and Rosefest doing a very nice job there. And Babushka in the pits. He'll take pole here. He's our pole sitter this race. Well, good for him. He is definitely looking to improve. Looking at the driver's standings one more time before we head in. Wags currently in P1, and he is starting 4th. Rosefest in P2. He'll be starting in the front row of the grid to this race. With Van starting in P3 in the Drivers' Championship. He is in P3 on the grid. So, if you can hear me, just let me know.
Yeah.
Sweet. What do you think of this top 3? It's starting to shape up here as Wags. He's in P4. He's currently in the lead of our Drivers' Championship, but guess what? Van's in front of him. I wonder how aggressive he'll be this race against his rival here.
Last night we had a couple of incidents coming out of turns 1 and 2. That blind apex is very, very tricky, especially for people, in that cockpit cam. So, whether or not it's going to be aggressive, I don't know. But I think, especially if you're one of the people fighting for a championship, it's not really about, winning tonight. It's about consistency throughout the whole season. You can't really afford a DNF or, outside the top 10 finish. So I would just be patient, keep an eye out for cars around you, and try to survive turn 1, 2.
It is a beautiful sunny day in looks like at Paul Ricard. The sun is shining.
Yeah, and that means unless there's rain later in the session, we won't really see any wet driving, which I think the drivers will appreciate. It's talking about strategy as just the strategies come up on their screen. I think soft, medium soft will probably be the good play because the softs on low fuel are really, really fast, and you kind of want that pace towards the end of the race compared to the middle. We'll have a look at the tires. So only everyone in the top 10 starting on softs. Chewy and Peach in 11th and 16th starting on softs. Everybody else outside top 10 starting on mediums. Sort of what you'd expect. I think if I'm Draken or Quirk, I just put on the hards and try to go for a one-stop hard to medium. But yeah, I expect everyone here to everyone in the top 10 to do for a two-stop. And I think if the medium riders can make their tires last maybe about 15 laps or so, or not even 15 laps, maybe like 10 laps or so, 12 laps or so, they can probably go medium hard. The game, often I notice that it doesn't really suggest a one-stop on tracks where you actually can do it. For example, in Bahrain, I know that a medium hard is very much possible, but it's not really an option the game gives you. So I wonder if some of these drivers, missing out on a strategy they don't know exists. We'll see if any of the drivers do a one-stop tonight.
Well, here comes Babushka as they come into the final sector. The Peach on the soft tire.
Yeah, so look for him to make up some spots in the opening few laps. He's going to have a huge pace advantage compared to the drivers around him. I think, yeah, we'll see what happens here, but I expect Rosefest I expect the van actually to try for a risky opening lap because he wants to be right behind his teammate. He doesn't want to be third in a DRS train. That's probably the worst place you can possibly be on track, is third in a train. So we'll see. We also have Wags behind him. He has some potential as well. The two Haas's in P7 and P8. Yeah, we'll have a look at this start, but I would. I'm gonna run on board with Van to start off this race. He's got the inside
Well,
line
here
as
we
well
go.
with his teammate.
5 lights will come on. 5 lights will go out here after a pause. And away we go here as Babushka. He's going
Get
to...
a very good start.
Yeah,
and so
Rosefest.
does Wags. Wags already passed Van. Rosefest side by side. Babu hugging the inside line a little bit, but he does go wide and locks up. That gives the Rosefest a chance to go around the outside, and Babu actually loses traction and loses the position as well as Rosefest up into the lead from P2. Wags up into P3, and we have a Lepson who's spun around out of turn 1. But Rosefest up into the lead now of the race. Babu now trying to gain that position back, and he's going to be, I think, using some energy. And let's see if he tries to go for the move here. He does use a lot of ERS, and he's going to go down the inside, going to the chicane. They're side by side. It's base Alex after into the wall, and that's going to bring out a DNF for Alex there. That's very unfortunate. But Babu does make the move stick, going out of the chicane. Now hugging the inside line. We'll see if Rosefest wants to fight back. Nope, he's just going to slot in behind him. Very, very close, though, throughout the top 10. Atmosphere gaining up a place. Peach up 2 places as we expected him to be on the soft tires. And Van up some spots as well, up into this battle here.
Well, right now, Blaze Alex has left the session. Looks like he has retired.
Yeah, looks like coming out of turn 7, I think, same spot where I crashed last night.
Well, looking now with Van, he is very close to Wags, and the DRS going to be coming alive. It should be next lap.
Yeah, next lap
as we start the second lap of this race. Now Van getting very close to that Ferrari, basically sensing it and having the drive away. Now Figlin, he is also wanting to join in this fight in P5 Tier 2. It's bringing the action tonight as Babushka, he gets a little bit squabbly coming through the hairpin as he puts up the fastest lap time through sector number 1. And he got with a 23.2. But can Rosefest answer with something? That is going to be the question. Now the gap is starting to really form out, but it's still under a second before the DRS comes here.
And this is the part where you will see the difference in setups. You know, drivers like Wags, he looks to be struggling on the straight line here, even using overtake a little bit. He's not really catching Rosefest as fast as I would expect. So Wags looks like he went for a high downforce setup. Meanwhile, Van Beats and Figlin, especially Figlin here, showing a lot of pace in his opening few laps in this DRS train. It's already more than a 1 second gap there. Babu actually gets past Rosefest there, and now tries to build this gap as we're about to see some DRS being enabled for the driver's atmosphere in P10 on mediums. Really good start from him. J8 Games losing a spot. Did Chewy actually lost a spot as well, so
Babushka putting up a 132.9, putting up that fastest lap. Now the gap has turned into a second in the front of the field, and that is going to be detrimental to their races because guess what, Van, he is very hot on the tail of Wags. He is half a second away from this Ferrari. So he'll say thank you very much for that DRS when they hit this back straight.
Running on board here with
shortly.
Astro here. Astro and Radical, very, very close battle. Coming out of turn 6 here, we'll see Radical. I don't think he's going to have DRS here, so this might be a move for P8 from Astro. DRS open. Yeah, Radical does not have DRS. Does he go defensive? Yeah, he does. Astro getting on him very, very quickly. He's going to choose the outside of the track, but Radical, very good defending from him. Keeps the position. I don't think Astro was fighting it for it too hard. Meanwhile, behind, Atmosphere is actually spun around. Atmosphere, who I just jinxed, I think, because I said he had a good start. Now he's down at P17 after that incident. Van Beats on the tail of Figlin, who just got
getting
past him, actually. Yeah, very good start from Figlin here. P4. And now he's looking for another position as Wags, as I said earlier, struggling on the straight line. Looks like he's got a little bit too much downforce Goes quite wide coming out of turn 14. Turn 15 now is going to be... Oh, Figlin almost spins it. Figlin's start almost got compromised. Now it's going to be Van getting that position back as a result of that
DRS.
Figlin mistake. Yeah.
Well, at least the DRS coming into play for Figlin, so he was able to keep that pace, but Juan Serra and that McLaren was able to catch up into this battle now for P4.
And I'll tell you what, that's a huge sigh of relief for Wags, because Wags was under pressure and he had no DRS himself, so now Wags needs to push, try to build that gap behind him if he wants to secure P3. Rosefest still within that second gap, and he's going to have DRS here on Babu. But he only has 10% energy left. He's burnt everything trying to catch up to Babu, who's actually weaving a couple times on the straight there. Not sure
Really
if that's going to be reported by Rosefest there. And Figlin and Juan Saria side by side through the chicane. Figlin on the outside. Can he make the move stick? They're still side by side. Both of them using just Figlin using overtake. They're side by side going to the fast right-hander. Juan Saria has been a victim of this corner before with an incident with another driver in tier 3, but now gets past Figlin. As you said, caught up to him last lap after his mistake, and now Figlin losing a couple positions in the span of a lap. It's non-stop action here in tier 2. So far, Rosefest has caught up.
Yeah, he's able to catch up using that DRS, getting under a second here with a half a second gap to the back bumper. Now the DRS coming alive for Rosefest. He's going to get going here as Babushka. He's going to go defensive as he weaves to the right, and here comes Rosefest. He's going to try and make a move up the inside, but he gets out of it. Babushka going around the outside, takes back P1, but that's okay. Now there's a yellow flag in Sector 3. Who is that? I think that's Quirk. That is going to be the man Quirk as he spins it on the final turn. Let's head back to the lead, battle for the lead as Rosefest is completely trying to find some form of pace on to Babushka. Babushka is very, very quick here at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, I'm still having internet issues here. I'm dropping in and out, so I'll leave you to it.
Well, looking here with Wags as he is now a second behind Rosefest, so he is kind of out of this fight for P1. But Rosefest dropping a little bit farther back. He was 3/10, but as he continues to pick it up as they go through that very quick left-hander, right-hander, he catches a bit of time, so he's just trying to find whatever milliseconds he can to get onto Babushka's butt here and try and find that overtake. Let's take a look at Rad here as he got had some issues with track limits, but he is battling here with an AlphaTauri of Astro for that P8 position.
And gap starting to form now. Big gap behind the McLaren of Chewy. So gap between 11 and 12. Quite big as we have another Renault. I think Atmosphere struggling again. Yeah, having some trouble there, but you know, we still see that DRS train. Wags as
Ooh, and that's going to be GA Games trying to make a sneaky little move onto the Renault there.
Yep. Sorry, I had to alt that for a sec, but yeah. GA Games up into P9. And car ahead has a penalty, so it's effectively P8 at this point. And Babu, we'll see if he can keep this position with no DRS. Rosefest coming up quickly behind him. Goes down the inside. Rosefest locks up the rear or front left. Babu fights it back. It's a three-way battle for the lead here, as Rosefest might actually lose his position to Wags, who's just behind him, and now he's ahead of him. Wags, very opportunistic, goes down the inside, tries to go down the inside of Babu, and Babu almost loses it. Oh my goodness, that was a great save from Babu. We got a tap from Wags in the middle of that fast right-hander, and somehow managed to save it. Now Wags under pressure from the inside. This is a huge three-way battle for the lead here. Rosefest trying to make up that position again that he lost to Wags a sector ago, but it looks like he's gonna have to make the move on this main straight. Can he get a good exit coming in the last corner? Oh, gets a little bit of oversteer though. And Juan Saria and Van are pitting after lap 5. Sorry, after lap 6. And now, yeah, it's about the time where you'll see these guys pit. I think I expect the rest of the top 10 to come to the pits this lap. Van puts on the hards. So I wonder if he's going to try to make that to the end, as does MLG. Fresh softs for Rad. And mediums for Juan and Peach. So I think Juan definitely doing that 2-stop, as is Radical. And I think Van and MLG God might try for a 1-stop, as Wags doesn't use a slipstream from Babu, which is interesting, but still all over him right now. Might have to try to make this move coming into turn 10.
Yep, coming in the turn 10. He's going to actually try and do this around the
outside.
and he gets it done.
Babu did another terrific save there. He almost lost it on the curb on the inside and had to correct the steering mid-apex. That was another huge save from him. And I think Babu needs to go to the pits here. He has no energy. I think his tires must be pretty overheated. And yeah, he does go into the pits there. That's a very interesting line going into it. Wags staying out on the soft. So we'll see if this undercut from Babu and the rest of the top 4 will be effective, as Wags staying out.
His tires are not nearly as in rougher shape as Babu's were. Babu's were at 70% on the rear tire, but
oh, and Babu gets held up in the pits because he needs to let Rosefest by. Rosefest actually jumps Babu in the pits.
What a stop there by Rosefest.
Yeah, so Babu, I think, got held up by other people in the pits, or something must have happened there. I don't think he had a wing change or anything, so I think it must have been something to do with the pit traffic. But now he's over a second behind Rosefest. He's gonna have to climb back up into those top 3, and that's a spin from Atmosphere again. He's into the wall with wing damage.
Is that retirement? Does he have permanent damage? No, it doesn't look like it, but totally completely busted front half of that wing. So he'll head back into the pits. So France even creating some problems, even with the huge runoff areas here for some drivers.
Van just made a crucial move on Juan Saria. Van is on the hards and Juan is on the mediums. Juan is trying to get him back, going to the turn 10 fast right-hander. And he gets that move right back. So tire advantage right now is on Juan. Van and Babu just need to be calm. Try to not make any track limit warnings, as J8 Games just picks up one. And Wags is in the pits. So we'll see if that undercut that we talked about. We'll see where Rosefest and Babu come, or sorry, where Wags comes out of the pits in relation to Babu and Rosefest. He's just leaving the pits now, getting onto the power, and this will be pretty close. He gets ahead of Rosefest on fresher tires, which is huge. Very, very important for that, for Wags to be in that position now. He's our net leader at the moment, and he's got the DRS over 1 second gap behind him. He is on the mediums though, so he will have to stop again, while Rosefest might drag out these tires to the end. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, let's see. Rosefest on the hard tire. I bet he can go to the end on the hard tire.
It's tricky. I pit lap 1 on hards, and yeah, I think soft hard is possible. I think he can make it to the end. I agree with you. I think everyone that pit on the hards this or last lap, I think they can make it to the end.
Lepson now trying to get the overtake done onto Eric, but Eric having none of it as he goes ahead and takes the lead back. But Lepson, he's still thinking the move is on.
Juan and Babu are side by side. This is for P3, and Babu has the inside line on the hards and makes the move done. So Juan Saria needs to activate these mediums. He has tire advantage. He has to stop again. He needs to get a move on here if he wants to get a good position in the race.
Let's head back up here to our leader on track. It's currently Eric and Lepson in P2 with Lepson getting that DRS.
Figlin on Van here. This is for P5. Figlin has the inside line. Van, does he leave him space? Yeah, it's very clean. And Babu and Juan battling ahead of him now. Oh, and they spin! Juan is into the wall. Juan is into the wall, and Babu survived that, I think. Yeah, Babu survived, did. But they did make contact coming out of turn 2, and that's what we talked about pre-race. EVs, about that first 2 corners, how tricky they are. You know, you think that they're safe, as Wags actually struggling too. Wags loses a position to Figlin. And to Rosas as well. So Wags, who was in a very good position to win the race, was leading the race on medium tires. Looks like he had a half spin or something, because he is now in net P3. Rosefest in a very good position now. He's on the hards. His net leader does not need to stop again. He just needs to just cruise it home and not take any penalties. Meanwhile, you know, Wags and Babu involved in some incidents. We'll see if Juan has any wing damage. I'll have to
let me
have a look.
Here. He does
not. Okay, so that's good news for him. He's committed to the 2 stop anyway, so he'll have time to claw back the positions that he lost. But yeah, that's a huge moment in the race.
Looking with Eric now.
Babu does have damage though. Babu is pitting, and he was on the hard, so his strategy is completely out the window here.
What would you say? Move to the mediums and try and go to the end on the medium tire?
I think going to the I think, does he have fresh hards? No, he does not. So yeah, he goes on the mediums. 16 laps on those. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to do 16 laps on those tires.
Well, I'm looking here. Lepson's currently 10 laps on the medium tires, and he has a damaged left damaged left front wing, but his front tires are only at 54%. His rear tire is only at 49%.
Yeah, 54% after 10 laps. If you want to do 6 more laps, they'll probably be at around 80 at that point. So that's very close to a puncture. So it'd be risky for Babu to go to the end on those mediums, but I think he takes that risk. He has nothing to lose at this point.
Well, let's look at Meat Shield, who looks like he's done 10 laps with the medium tire. He's at 52% on the fronts and 47% on the rears.
Figlin going down the inside of Wags. Figlin spun around.
Oh no!
Figlin,
oh no!
Not an overtaking area, my friend.
And the Haas's days just continue to get worse and worse here as MLG he's currently in P10 and has 4-lap-old hard tires with a penalty. I wonder what the penalty is. 3 seconds. So Lepson into the pits now. Get some fresh tires. I think he will be moving to the hard tire as well.
Yeah, and Rad has soft tires. He's fighting with Van, who's down the outside of him, going to turn 3. That was a very nice move from Van. We'll see if Rad actually tries to get his spot back, as he's on the soft. He's struggling with tire temps, though. His rears are overheating, looks like, and has trouble maintaining traction, but he's got the outside going to the chicane. Van is fighting this pretty hard. Defends the inside, and Van, I think, just lets him by. Van knows that, you know, different strategies. Rad has to pit again. No point fighting.
Well,
meanwhile, Rosefest has blistering pace on those hards. I have to be honest with you. Like, this is very good pace from him if he can make these laps to the end.
And he's approaching Eric currently, who is on 11-lap-old medium tires.
Yeah, you can see the advantage he has.
Yeah.
Just based on tire wear. Eric 11 laps on the mediums. He might go into the pits here. No, he stays out actually. Meat Shield behind him though does dive into the pits, and I think we'll see an undercut from Meat Shield here because Eric is really struggling with tire wear. Wags has to pit again, so it's still, apart from Rosefest, who should be cruising comfortably to the lead here, it's still anyone's game. Van is in a good position on the hards, but apart from that, a 2-stop could be viable from people like Figlin, Juan Saria, maybe even Van if he wants to go for softs at the end instead of hards all the way through. We'll have to wait and see. This is
Let's
what I
look at-
love about tracks like this is, you know, there's not one dominant strategy here. You can do a lot of different things, and you see people like Eric right now in P2 on track, and just because of, you know, him starting on mediums. Really, really fun to see some of these guys battling in positions they usually haven't battled before. Radical now on the tail of Wags. He does have that penalty. We'll see if he can make it work here.
Well, Meat Shield did go into the pits and get the hard tire, but guess who's chasing him? It's Lepson in P13. And these two are definitely going to have a battle to the end. The question is, where are they going to come out? Because it depends really on the strategy, and they are definitely within that time window of Juan Seraph, Figlin, who are on that 2-stop strategy. Can they get into the points tonight, Tag?
I think it's all to play for them. I think they're on the right tire. I think they just need to keep it cool. And we talked about management early on, but you know, ERS management is huge. I mean, you're looking at some of these drivers right now, they have, you know, 16% energy. So meanwhile, other people have 94. It's all about managing your fuel, managing your tires, and your energy. As Eric's staying out again, I think he's I think he needs to come in. He's
struggling.
A mistake here. He's making a mistake here just because those mediums are going to be very, very slow right now, and he's comfortably in the hard tire window, so there's not losing anything, or he's not getting anything by staying out. Meanwhile, Wags now is going to be thanking Eric for the free DRS. I think Wags needs to make them smooth. Now he's got lots of energy to work with.
He's trying to get it done, but he's not close enough yet as he gets onto the back
And
rear,
you can
and
see
he makes bumps.
see how slow Eric is here. Wags, you know, is hitting him because he doesn't expect him to be that slow, and now Radical tries to make something out of this. But
and you can see there's some damage on that wing now of Wags.
Oh yeah, Wags with damage just because of those rear ends. I think it's going to be just very light damage, but still not something that you want to do. And he locks up now. Yeah, Eric is costing Wags a huge chunk of time here, but Radical is going to go down the inside here, turn 14. No, he doesn't. He does. It's very, very close between Wags. Eric finally pits. Wags, ooh, they make contact here. Radical's all over him. Radical
and now Van takes the position.
Van takes the position, yeah. So Eric, you know, causing some drama here between second and fourth. Radical will have to pit this lap, I believe. He's on an 8-lap old softs. He'll be feeling the effects of that right now. Wags picks up a penalty, so that'll be good news for others on the 2-stop like Figlin.
Yeah,
look for Van to just sit behind Wags here, not use too much energy, and as I say that, he's using overtake. But if I'm Van right now, I take this free DRS. I know I'm not in danger from behind because Rad is third in a DRS train. He's on old softs. You have to pit. I'm second in a DRS train. Car ahead, you know, will just tow me around the circuit. I can save my tires and go to the end. So if I'm Van right now, I just keep it cool. I just drive behind Wags for, you know, another 6 or 7 laps until he has to pit, and then I make, you know, a dash for the win.
Well, right now Van just needs to stay close right now, and just race his race for Wags right now. 6-lap old medium tires. They're at 30% on the front tires, so that's Wags. That's gonna be Rat. He's gonna go into the pits now and go. Yeah, those soft tires, those things are worn down at 61%. So now Van, he's getting very, very close to Wags. He's within DRS range, and that gap between Rosefest and Wags continues to get bigger and bigger, currently at 5.15 seconds. Van now only within a half a second, and Chewy The other McLaren, the teammate of Juan Serra, who was in the running for third, he's on a totally different tire strategy, which is surprising considering that his teammate's on the medium tire.
Sorry, just give me a sec. I have to do some something real quick.
And now you can see Astro, he is in the DRS area. Well, zone, excuse me, had that DRS active, and he is within 0.3 of Chewy. So it's going to be a complete battle here as MLG, even though he has that time penalty, he is slowly creeping up in that Haas. Same with Figlin, who is also on a different strategy from his teammate MLG. But right now, Rosefest just needs to have a good race. His energy level is quite good. He's currently sitting about 75%, and you can't really save quite a bit of energy. You can't really save and regen that energy like you really can at some other tracks. This track is very fast, a lot of flat out, and a lot of on the throttle. So here we go, Rosefest once again. Now we're starting lap 17, and Van, he is getting very close to Wags, but what does this mean for Astro? Astro, he's gotten that DRS again. He's on the back bumper of Chewy, and he is starting to really climb up, trying to find that pace, trying to find every millisecond he can, trying to get through this track and get that P4 and maybe be in the running for a win or even a podium, considering that Weg still has to pit and he has a 3-second penalty. Now Eric putting up the fastest lap time with a 1:32.8. And he is currently in P11. He was the man who was causing some drama, I would say, for the leaders and really holding them up as Rosefest was able just to continue and get a huge gap here.
Yeah, and we haven't talked about Chewy that much as he loses a position to Astro, but Chewy also on 9-lap-old hards is in a top 4 position, or top 5 position. Could be top 4 if he makes this move on to Astro again. They go side by side going to turn 10. Do they make the corner cleanly? They do, and the McLaren of Chewy has the inside line, and that's the position right back with Astro, though.
He picked up a 3-second penalty for that, so I think he just gave the position back.
I think, yeah, he must have gone wide there.
Looking at Chewy again, he's trying to sniff that back bumper of Astro. And now, oh, Tack, you have left the session, but that's okay. Now Van, he has taken P2 as Wags has fallen back into the pits for his pit strategy to work. He's heading to the soft tire. And now it gets interesting. Has Wags messed up his strategy? Has he Red Bulled this? And has thrown away a potential victory here at France. Looking around here, let's take a look now. MLG, he's in a potential chance of a podium as he is approaching MLG God as Astro moves up into P3. So this is going to get interesting, Tech. I hope you join us very quickly. Looking around the grid once again, Radical currently on the back bumper of Eric, who is currently has our fastest lap time. Actually, it's going to be Radical with the fastest lap time with a 1:32.5. So he's looking to pick up not only 1.2 points. Oh no, there goes Tech. Oh, there he goes. He's back as now Radical trying to get the move done on Eric and maybe looking for 4 points to put on his name tonight on the standings, but doesn't get the move quite done. Let's head over to Chewy, who's approaching Astro once again, getting very, very close here, as he still has that 3-second penalty, I think. Yep, 3 second. And MLG God was 6 seconds. He has to drive away from his teammate if he wants to keep that P5 currently, as Wags has fallen down the order. He is currently in P12, and he picked up a penalty somewhere already on his outlap. Looking over at Astro now. He's 2 seconds away from Van, but MLG God and Chewy getting very close together.
All right, I am back in the lobby for yet another time as my internet drops. What did I miss here? Van still in PT. Wags. Oh, so Wags pits for soft. Okay. I don't know if I don't understand this at all. So he's trying to make the soft, medium, soft work. He's gonna have to do another 8 laps on those. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting call from him. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if this top 5 will change. Chewy behind Astro, but other than that, the gaps seem to be pretty long.
Yeah, now the gap's really starting to form out here. JA Games currently with a 3-second penalty. Lepson, though, he has made up 8 positions here today. 6 positions.
Yeah, Lepson didn't really have a good quality. I expected him to do a little better, but now he's making up for it in the race. He's got the right strategy. He's going medium hard. Yeah, he's got 4-lap fresher tires or 3-lap fresher tires compared to his teammate ahead. We'll see if that makes a difference towards the latter stages of the race.
Wags
Top
putting
3,
up the
it's
fast.
important to note. Sorry to interrupt there, but top 3, no penalties. So keeping it clean so far, and I think that's very, very good for them. Building a gap to a car behind you when they have DRS is pretty difficult on this track, unless you have a tire advantage. So hopefully these guys can keep it clean.
Chewy and Astro have made up 7 positions tonight. Astro driving a very clean race, but he has to defend off Chewy here with 7 laps to go here at Paul Ricard. Chewy's doing... both those guys have driven very well tonight, considering that Juan Serra was in the mix for a while, and now the McLaren, the McLaren team, they do have another driver who is able to keep pace here and get stay within a podium position here.
Yeah, and Figlin's diving into the pits to go on some softs, I believe. So this will be interesting to watch as he has a huge tire advantage at the end of the race. His teammates staying out on those hards. But yeah, Chewy and Astro, really, really good race from them. Like I said, needing to keep it clean through the first opening laps, and from there, just worry about your tire and your strategy, and you're in a good position. That's exactly what they're doing. And Chewy, though, with those 3 seconds of penalties, needs to start thinking about an overtake on Astro, as he doesn't really want to be stuck behind him, having those 3 seconds of penalties. I think he tries to make an overtake as soon as possible and try to build a gap.
Chewy really sticking on the rear end of Astro here.
Astro using a lot of energy as well to keep his position. Chewy, meanwhile, has a decent amount of time or amount of energy left in the tank. We'll see if he starts using that as we're starting lap 22 of 27 here. 6 laps to go. 6 laps. Is that enough for Chewy to overtake and build a 3-second lead for this podium position? Astro defends the inside, and nothing doing this time around on turn 1. But again, Chewy's saving up a lot of energy here. He's going to be ready to go on this back straight. We're just gonna jump on board with Figlin here. He's on those fresh softs. Finish his first lap on them down the inside, easy peasy on Meat Shield, who's on hards. So that's 1 down, and 10 to go for Figlin. Now Astro does finally lose that position to Chewy on the back straight. Chewy finally using some of that energy, but not that good of an exit coming out of the chicane there for Chewy. We'll see if Astro tries to get him back. No, Chewy is using this energy to defend his position. Now he's going to try to build that gap.
And he has to now because he does have a 3 seconds of time penalties assessed against him. So
Yeah, he has to get a move on here. Astro, on the other hand, has to just stay within those 3 seconds. He's got a podium position from, I believe, P11. Where did Astro qualify? Let me have a look here. Astro qualified in P10, so yeah, 10th to podium would be very, very good for Astro here. If he can just keep his momentum going. Car behind him also has penalties, so he's in a pretty secure position here.
well, if Chewy finds the gap somehow, he would have gone from 12th to 3rd.
Yeah, super drive for some of those guys.
11th, excuse me, right? No,
Yeah. Chewy is, though, net P5 because of his penalty, or net P4, sorry, because of his penalties. And he's actually struggling after that overtake he did. He's kind of struggling through these more technical parts of the circuit. He's using overtake to keep his position. As Juan Sari is in the wall, isn't he?
He is.
What happened to
And
him?
he is.
That's bringing out the VSC. That's coming out of turn 1. I'm not sure what that is. And actually, that's going to prompt Peach to just dive into the pits. He was mid-apex. He saw the VSC come out. Thank you very much. I will put on the soft tires and try to go to the end here. Well, he will go to the end, but smart or quick thinking from the Peach to take advantage of this VSC. And now it's all about trying to time this restart to not get a drive-through, but also not lose a chunk of time. Because it's going to be hard. For example, on Astro here, if he loses DRS because of this. I wish we could see their deltas because it's going to be tricky here. And, yep, Eric got a drive-through penalty, as I said. Very, very tricky to not get punished for, crossing that line. I believe that's it, though. No one else picked up any penalties, so...
No, and Chewy didn't get off to a great start because Astro was able to find the gap again, and he is within DRS zone, DRS again of Astro. But can Chewy find that gap? He needs to just continue on here as Rosefest has taken a 6-second gap over Van, and this is what superb driving by Rosefest here today.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. You could tell that, despite having the beginning of qualifying for him was a little bit poor. I think he expected a little bit more, but then he came out with a banger lap at the end, put himself on the front row, and drove a clean race and good strategy from there to get to where he is right now. He's not done yet. Still got 3.5 laps to go, but he's in a very good position here. As is Van. I have to be, props to Van. Very clean race, no penalties so far. And Astro, so far, gonna take home P3 for a
gap's gotten bigger.
Good point results for AlphaTauri here.
Yeah. Now Atmosphere picking up 3 seconds for multiple warning.
Astro did just lose DRS compared to Chewy, so now Chewy, it is his time. He's got and he picks up another 3-second time penalty on that apex of turn 1, and that's pretty much game over for him. Astros has P3 in the bag if he can bring it home for AlphaTauri.
He's gotta hope that Astro either A, gets a track limit or he spins.
Yeah, but Astro's not under pressure for MLG, got behind. Astro is pushing quite a lot. He's got 5% energy. Might be a little bit nervous. Maybe he wants to be a little closer to Chewy, but he's burning a lot of energy here with 3 laps to go.
And he's losing time. He's already down to almost 1.5 seconds here as we have 2 laps to go here at France.
Yeah, his tires are pretty worn, so 19 lap hold hards. You will start to feel some some impacts of those tires being very worn. So I don't know.
They're in puncture zone. That is 76% on the
wow.
rear.
Yeah, he needs to just be very, very careful here. He's not under pressure from MLG God. He can let MLG God and JA Games pass him and still have P3 here. So I think he just needs to keep it cool. He's using that overtake though.
Yeah, he's using it whenever he can, really, to try and just get a good exit out, maybe get that grip down a little bit quicker. But those hards now at 20 laps.
Yeah. Still 2 laps to go as well, so he's going to be quite nervous, I think, if he's looking at his tire wear.
Chewy's just got to pick up the pace now. Even though his tires... Oh, I can't see his tires.
Oh, why is Figlin in? So Figlin is in the pits again. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a wing change. Yeah, it is.
It is.
So
yep.
Figlin came in 4 laps ago for the soft tires, and looks like he's had a bit of an incident. Has to get a new front wing. It's a bummer from him.
Oh, excuse me. Lepson now picking up a 3-second penalty for track limits. So, this is getting spicy here for Astro, as he has now passed the 80% mark on that right rear tire. So, I know they say you can't get a puncture in reduced damage.
You can get a puncture, yeah.
But
we've had it before. But he's got 1 lap to bring it home. Ooh, in the chat said he predicted P7 for Wags on the softs, and looks like he's correct so far. I'll look at the penalties right now. Actually, Wags. We've got 6 seconds for Chewy, 6 for MLG, 3 for JA Games, 6 for Wags, 9 for Rad. 3 for Lepson, so Lepson could actually jump Rad and probably will do so up into P8. Babu though is down in P10 after leading the race for a bit, so bad luck just continues for him.
Chewy now really trying to put every ounce of him into this car, hoping that Astro makes a mistake here, because that 3-second gap has now opened up.
Yeah, if Astro's on 2 warnings right now, he needs to just bring it home. Nothing to gain here by pushing hard, and he has 0%, 0% on his tires. But anyway, we're right on board with Rosefest. He's going to be our race winner tonight. No surprise there, based on how the race unfolded and how the strategies came about. Very, very good job from him. He actually finishes the race with 40% energy.
Yeah.
As we have, who is that in the wall? It's Babu. Oh no, Babu coming out of turn 10. What happened to him? Oh, he has a puncture. Babu has a puncture. Speaking of punctures, last lap, Babu gets a rear left puncture to close it out. Oh, that's bummer for him.
Yeah, I'm looking over at my tire temperature. That's a rear right puncture, because that tire temperature is dropping.
And he's spinned again.
Well, Chewy comes across the line into 4th, and our Astro comes across the line in 3rd. MLG God coming across the line in 5th. JA Games in 7th, and as they all get to the line, their tires are done. Lepson in P9, Radical in P8, Meat Shield in P10.
And Babu here limping across the line with his puncture on the rear left. Yeah, it must be so frustrating for him, knowing what could have happened here. It's a bit of a car park after the line. Nice.
Quirk coming over the line in P16, and then of course Drake and Wolf, our last man, in P7. Oh my, there's no tires on that AlphaTauri, but that's gonna do it for us here at France. Our winner tonight was Rosefest, and who's your driver of the day?
I gotta give it to Astro. I mean, he did everything he needed to do, from 10th on the grid to being on the podium with his teammate. I think he'll be very, very happy. No penalties either. So, yeah, hats off to Astro. Hats off to both the AlphaTauri boys tonight. They drove very well.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I definitely agree with you. The AlphaTauri obviously winning the constructors, getting the constructors trophy tonight, but also putting two people on the podium. So, taking a look at our incidences, I think our FIA is going to be very, very busy. A lot of exceeding track limits, as I am seeing, but definitely our driver of the day going to Astro here. Any final thoughts before we sign off tonight?
I pretty happy. I saw some good battles. It was fun to see some of the guys that are usually at the rear. Since they started on mediums, they're actually in the top track. Fun to see some of those guys in those positions. Lots of overtaking done. I think it's one of those tracks where you need to get in the flow, and some drivers did and some drivers didn't.
For sure, for sure. Well, this is definitely going to shake up the drivers' standings as Rosefest wins here, and Wegs coming in P7. That definitely shakes it up. Van might, I think, does he take the lead here in the drivers' championship? If you have to do it quickly, Tack.
Oh, let's see. Van picks up P4. Is that right?
Van,
I believe no. Rosefest
T2.
Rosefest will be our new drivers leader. He's gonna be well clear actually of Wags, who just picked up 6 points, or 7 points actually, that fastest lap. So it's gonna be Rosefest, our championship leader right now, and I believe Wags will still be in P2 with 77 points. So bit of a bigger gap now between the top two, but still all to play for. We've still got lots of races coming your way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. We are going to sign off. Make sure to tune in next Saturday for some ACC Sprint at GT3 action. So thank you so much for all your follows, all your subs on Twitch and on YouTube. We really appreciate it. All of that money goes towards into the league. So for everybody here at Apollo Racing Club, thank you and have a great night.
See you guys.